this is Rachel from 7 and All, and let's chat morning time plans. It's come to my attention that I needed to do an updated morning time video because throughout the whole last school year, we were pretty much doing the same thing. We were doing Sunlight P and Sunlight T, working in Beautiful Mundo for our Spanish, and those are long programs. Sunlight P was a 36-week program, so we were just rolling with that throughout the school year and didn't really have much creativity or changing things up, just went with it. It was easy, got it done, but now we are done with our Sunlight programs and we're doing things a little bit differently. For this school year, I don't have any Sunlight going on, but I'm still keeping our habit of morning story time with breakfast going strong, and I wanted to share what resources I'm using for that. We are following Gentle and Classical Preschool, which is mostly aimed and targeted at my youngest son, my 3-year-old, although his older brother definitely still wants to hear all the stories and definitely chimes in on our memory statement cards. So the cards are part of our morning time routine, and the week that I'm filming this, we're working on Unit 8, If You Give a Mouse a Cookie. So we have, this is our main book of the week, and we read this repeatedly throughout the week, but with the letter books of the week, I do try to add in a few extra picture books just to use what's on my shelves if I can. So, and I'll add them in Spanish and in English if I can. So I just pulled what I had. Hola cangrejito. So we get to practice the word crab, cangrejo, throughout the book. This is a fun one they've read many times and they will always be happy to read again. Silly little book about a grumpy crab, a crabby crab. Also Corduroy, which is an awesome book. This edition is in Spanish, but it was originally in English. And then here, kind of a fun art book, A Gallery of Cats, which has different works that tie into different famous artists, but they're all now focused on cats. So we get to find the word cat, find the letter C throughout. So Gentle and Classical Preschool is our core for our morning time right now, but I'm adding in because I do have an older son and a son that really is obsessed with stories and books and is not too easily satisfied with, just a book or two. So we have our memory statement cards that we go over as part of morning time. We have our readings that are part of Gentle and Classical. So this poem book is part of that, and you get one poem for each unit. The llama who had no pajama. I didn't have access to this the first time I did Gentle and Classical Preschool. I did borrow it from the library this time, and these have been hilarious. I've really enjoyed these poems. For our Bible reading, which you are scheduled to read a Bible story each day, I'm using the Spanish edition of the Beginner's Bible. This is a bilingual edition, so I'm reading the Spanish side of the page. And for us, kind of going back to a simpler Bible retelling, but doing it in Spanish, I think is a good option right now. I do want to practice their Spanish, get them more familiar, more comfortable with these words, but their Spanish comprehension is definitely not as advanced as their English. So doing a simpler reading of the Bible stories, but doing it in Spanish is a good one for us right now. So we started going through this once we finished Sunlight. Then for poems, I'm also going back to this. I got this for myself for Christmas a couple years ago. And homeschool moms, sometimes you just gotta be honest. You gotta be like, I want that big pretty poetry book for me. And you can't really justify it necessarily as a homeschool purchase, but I want it for me. And I was honest with myself. I want that book for me. We read through the first half of it that year, January to June, and then we went to the US and we're gone for a long time. Then we came back and we did Sunlight, and Sunlight had its own poetry, so I set it aside, but we're gonna start up, and we started up in July, which is kind of perfect. So we're starting up with the second half of it. It's just all animal poems, and the illustrations, I'll try to show them to you. They're like full page illustrations, often very short poems for each day. But the boys love the illustrations. They love animals, so the animal focus is fantastic for them right now. And I'm happy to be bringing this back into our morning time routine. Then, because toward the end of Sunlight P, they were kind of getting used to reading chapter books. I'd read Millie, Molly, Mandy, and then the Uncle Wiggily storybook, which they're short chapter books, but they're chapter books. So I'm like, hey, I want to kind of roll with this and continue this routine. And I picked up a book. I picked up this book last year, and it's not part of any curriculum, but it is something we should be, we want our kids to enjoy. So this is the complete tales of Winnie the Pooh in here, and it's all nicely illustrated. I got this for like $6 on Thrift Books. So if you're looking for a Winnie the Pooh edition, look on Thrift Books. And I think this probably was supposed to have a dust jacket, but I don't care, for $6. I was very happy with that. So we started reading through these stories, which are, a little longer, but they have a lot of pictures still and nice colorful illustrations in this edition. So that will take us a while to get through the Winnie the Pooh tales. Our math curriculum schedules one math picture book a week. So sometime during the week I do try to make sure I weave in a math picture book, and sometimes I have the book that she recommends, sometimes I don't. So this particular week, the math picture book she recommended was based on addition. I didn't have that book, but I do have another book that's based on addition, and one I've read dozens of times, but the boys will not complain if I read it again. They love this book. This is from the Math Start series, which has a lot of awesome math picture books. And Animales a Bordo, this one's in Spanish, but they have the same book. In English, it's probably called something like Animals on Board. But it's about addition, simple addition. It's a fun one to read, quick read to work in. So we do work in our math, once a week math picture book into our morning time. And then something new I'm trying to work in now is I'm realizing our homeschool is skewing more English. We're doing a lot with English with our gentle and classical memory work. So I wanted to incorporate some Spanish memorization, and I wanted my kids to be able to start singing Spanish songs. So they're familiar with a lot of Spanish songs. I've sung them, we've listened to them, they're familiar, but I know that they don't really sing them independently on their own. That's kind of the goal I'd like to get to now, is to have my boys learn some of these childhood songs in Spanish and be able to, actually sing through the song themselves. Sing it to me, sing it to their dad. So that's the goal I'm gonna be working on. We're gonna pick one. What I did was I put the lyrics for a couple of songs, a couple of easy songs that I already know are quite familiar to them, but they wouldn't necessarily feel like they have the confidence to sing it themselves, that they know it well enough to sing it themselves. I just put the lyrics with some simple art on the page to kind of give it a little bit of excitement for them, or a little bit of a prompt to help them remember what the song is about. So los pollitos dicen, el barquito, la araña pequeñita, estrellita. Very simple childhood songs. But I think I'll let them pick which one they want to start with, and we're just going to learn it until they can sing it, then we'll go to the next one. And I do have a list of maybe 15 or so songs that are good potentials for simple, practical, lots of great vocabulary, and to get them speaking more, because we definitely know that they're at the stage where they can understand a lot when it comes to listening to Spanish, being read to, being given instructions in Spanish, but really getting to that production level where they feel more comfortable speaking it. We're still working on that. So this is part of my idea, is to incorporate them actually singing these songs, learning them until they can sing them. So that is all that we do during our breakfast morning time routine. It's really focused around gentle and classical preschool, the cards and books for my 3-year-old, and then I'm weaving in the animal poetry, Winnie the Pooh, some Spanish memory work, and once a week a math storybook. So that's how we're doing our morning story time. Then later in the day, usually around snack time, late morning snack time, we have a snack. Kids cannot get through the day without snacks. So at that time is when we usually read our book for our Around the World study, and then we'll probably watch a video. I don't like to do anything with videos at breakfast time. It just doesn't seem to flow well to me to get out the computer at breakfast to watch a video. So it just feels a little smoother, works better to do our Around the World and then you know, maybe we're learning about tigers, and so we watch a video about the Bengal tiger. And we do that at late morning, and we also do our science during the late morning snack time, which is usually a quick reading, and then we move into worksheets or a science experiment. So that type of activity where we're not just reading and talking and singing, I like to do that more at the late morning snack time, because it's a little bit easier to transition from a simple snack into a science experiment or into watching a video or coloring this page that goes with our study of India. So that is our morning time routine right now. Let me know, do you do morning time in your homeschool, and what are some of your favorite resources for this time of the day? All right, I'll be seeing you next time for more nerdy homeschool videos. Bye.